So what did a midlife crisis look like for you? You went out and bought a leather jacket and a motorcycle and got a tattoo?
No, mine was pretty. I do things big, Colton. So I do things pretty big. I quit my job like I said, my career of 20 years. I sold everything, and I moved to California from Canada with my wife and kids, who at the time were like 3 and 2 years old, to start a dental practice. Because hey, if I can do that, if I could do engineering, I could do managing of a business. And my wife is a dentist, and that was my midlife crisis. However, I didn't realize I was jumping out of the frying pan into the fryer with that, and that put me on another 3-year journey of pain, suffering, and challenges. And throw in COVID, all of those became a pressure cooker that really did force me to change, to evolve, or kind of regress. So it was really, I had no choice. I had to either evolve or die.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because, midlife crisis, could we also consider calling it a calling? Something that, when we hear about the human brain doesn't mature fully until we're in our later 20s, and we've already gone through all this higher education, then we realize this isn't quite the path that I really think I'm called to go on. What does that look like? Is that a midlife crisis, or is that just realizing I'm identifying who I really am now?
Yeah, and I talk about this a little bit in my podcast as well. It's what are our phases in life, right? And I believe the early phases is us just trying to learn the mechanics of being alive, walking, talking, eating, potty training, all those things, right? How to communicate with people, how to talk, how to make a friend. The next decade is really us in an emotional maelstrom, right? Till we hit our 20s. Now with our going to school and prolonging kind of adult life, we don't really face true challenges until we're in our mid to late 30s, late to mid 20s. And at that point, we're on the rails. Like, we're following the rule book that our parents or our friends set up for us, the ideas of what we think we want. You go to school or you don't go to school, you follow a passion. And then you start to layer in relationships. And I think at that point is when you start to really feel friction. Right. Careers are one thing. I think men especially like to lean back on careers because they feel control there. If I show up, if I do the work, I will get a bonus or I will get a salary. And there's this feedback loop that you get, right? Positive or negative. And then you start to build in relationships, and those are its own challenges. And then you throw in children, which we're all not prepared for once they happen, right? And each child is completely different. If you have multiple children. And I think at that point, you really start that friction in life really starts to challenge some of those beliefs that you have. And that's when you start to ask yourself those hard questions, like, is this what I want? Is this what I want to teach my kids? What's the legacy that I want to have for my life? That's the rude awakening, I believe.